Hey, hello. Welcome to another episode of Philanthropy. Hey, today's episode is gonna be around training volunteers, and we got two great people to train you on volunteers. We got Toby and Sarah. Come on over.
Should we do a high five? Okay. Okay. Hi there, this is Sarah here with
Toby.
and we're really excited to share a couple quick tips for you. Thank you for being a volunteer, and if you haven't been able to get to a training at your branch, we wanted to make sure that you had a couple tools for success. So we're just going to run through them back and forth, and Toby's going to lead us off with the first one.
Yes, so volunteers, we know how precious your time is, we're taking time away from your family, your busy life, and you're out there volunteering for our annual campaign because you love the Y. So thank you so much for taking that time and helping drive our cause, the cause of the Y, and helping making the Y for everyone. So I want to thank you first and foremost, and I want to also tell you how important you are to the campaign. Because as staff, we are just not as effective campaigners as you are, because it's part of our job to raise money for the Y or recruit volunteers. But volunteers do it out of the goodness of their heart. They see the impact the Y has in lives every day in our facility. So when they ask someone to join me in supporting this cause, it is just so much more effective than if it were coming from a staff member.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Toby.
Sure.
That's great. The next one is just to chat a little bit again about your time commitment. As Toby said, your time is precious, and we thank you so much for being here at any times that you can. But just as a quick reminder, hopefully you were able to come to a training at your branch and meet others, and so that was just about 60 minutes. We hope that you can join us on the kickoff. So for those of you who are in Kitsap County, we're going to be at the Admiral Theater on February 23rd. From 5 o'clock, the doors will open, we'll have some food, and we can come and be inspired. For those of you in Pierce County, we are going to be at the University Y Student Center on February 25th at 5 o'clock as well, and we will be inspired as well on that day, and then that will launch our campaign as we go forward. So that'll be about 90 minutes for those events. And then, of course, the time it takes you to make your calls or meet with people individually. That will depend on how many cards you have and how much time you have to give to us, the campaign, as you go forward in making those asks. And then, of course, we want you to visit your branch weekly at their weekly rallies, because we want to celebrate with you. We want to make sure we can answer any questions you have, and those training dates and times will come in an email from your branch, so you know exactly when you need to be there to turn in that money. And that's about it.
Yeah.
That's the time commitment we're asking from you. So thanks again.
So there you are with your time commitment, you're ready to go. It's very important also to know what you're campaigning for. So every branch has put together a brochure that explains the heart of our cause. It has numbers, it has personal stories, and it's just a threefold pictures and stories and statistics that tell you where the dollars that you're raising are going to exactly. So at the Morgan Y, we have a brochure, and it talks about Swim for Exceptional Children. It talks about our late night program, talks about how many kids we're serving in the pool. And you just please read through that and get familiar with the material and use it as a guideline. You don't have to use it step for step verbatim, but a lot of people like that. But other people are inspired by different parts of the Y that we don't even talk about in the brochure. For me, March of 2015, we decided to scholarship foster children 100%. Our brochure highlights that, so I always find myself being drawn to that because it moves me. So as a volunteer, find out what moves you within the brochure or outside of the brochure, and those can be the things that inspire you to campaign, and that's what the message you can pass on to potential donors.
And so you might be wondering, who should you ask? Well, we want to make sure that you're asking people you know. We're not going to ask you to make cold calls or call strangers or big long lists of people that we have on a roster. We want to make sure you're asking your friends and family, acquaintances you know here at a branch and maybe in your class, people that have a like commonality with you. So maybe it's another parent that you sit next to during swim lessons or gymnastics. Somebody that you always seem to be walking in with when you walk in the branch. Having those commonalities here at the Y is a great way to start a conversation and connect with each other around the similarities that you have. But one of the very unique things about the YMCA's annual campaign is we want to make sure that one person is asking one person. So each person in our community should get one call from the best relationship. So we do ask you to take one step further in letting us know who you plan to ask. And we have a simple form that you can see down in the links below. That's the new prospect form. So just letting us know who you're going to call, as much information as you can about that person. And then what we'll do is provide you with a custom pledge form that already has their information printed on it. So there might be a chance that in prior years they have given to the Y, and we can provide that information with you as a guide as you go to make your ask. So hopefully that makes sense, and we're here to answer any questions about that. You could also make sure to read in the link below. We're going to have this great packet here, this training packet, and you can read through this and learn a little bit more about these tips and steps that Toby and I are talking about.
Yeah. Okay, now you know who to ask. Let's talk about how to ask. So the best way on all donation solicitations would be a one-on-one ask. So if you could set some time apart, Sarah, you mentioned sitting next to that parent in gymnastics class, that could be an opportunity, or you can set some time aside for coffee, or just meeting them before class, 5 minutes before class, if it's someone that you share a class with. So the best possible way and the most successful way you can be throughout the campaign is to set time and one-on-one conversation asking a person to join you in giving to the Y. Of course, you can do a phone call to people you know, and also phone calls to people who have things in common, like they go to the same class as you. But always we try to encourage that one-on-one, but we know that it's not always possible. So sometimes we do end up asking people over the phone. Also on this tool, we have a list of tips, like when you're calling someone, identify yourself as a volunteer, and when you're asking for money, say join me in supporting the Y rather than give the Y money. It's join me because as a volunteer, it's most likely that you've given a gift your well. And then after you ask the question, it's time to be silent. Let them answer. So if you've asked for a donation, so often we get a little nervous and we're talking so much, and that we don't just allow some silence and them to answer the question that you've asked.
Exactly. Great. Well, those are our top tips for a successful campaign and an annual campaign experience. We're going to leave you with a couple more, just quick ones, and then there's even more in your packet that you can read with the link below. So first one is make your own pledge first. Really, again, can't thank you enough for your time, but when you go into a conversation and are able to say, join me in making a gift, it comes across that you have invested your treasure, your hard-earned money into this campaign, and you truly believe in it. And so any gift amount is appropriate. The one that is calling to you is the correct amount. So we encourage all of our volunteers to make a cash or pledge donation.
Yeah, and there's a whole list of keys to success in this packet. We'll touch on another one. Aim high. When you're asking for a gift and you have a relative, this is a person you have a relationship with, so you have an idea of how much money to ask. We get a little nervous and we tend to shoot low, like, oh, this person, I know they have bills, so let's not do too much. How about $25? Let the donor, the potential donor, decide if it's too high. So feel free to ask for $100, for $200, and let them say, well, that's too much, but I'll give you $50. So that's okay. And then just a reminder, allow them to answer the question once you've asked for the gift. And then also report back to your donors regularly. This campaign is a journey, and we have high goals and expectations. We meet a dollar amount so we can meet all the needs in the community that we hope to meet. So report back to them. As a donor, as a volunteer, they're on that campaign, they're giving to it. They want to see if you're going to reach the goal. They want to attend those weekly celebration meetings where, okay, we're going to turn in our money and see how much closer. And then certainly at the end of the campaign, they want to be a part of that celebration of success. So thank you again for your time and for volunteering for the Y to help us reach this such a meaningful cause.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you at the kickoff coming up here in a couple weeks. And thanks again.
Thank you.